Hi, my name's Siobhan.
My name is Matthew.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Ranger.
Courtney.
Sam.
Vianney.
Belinda.
Brian.
Dana.
Ethan.
Kate.
Ruben.
Helen.
Daniel.
Beth.
I'm from Wellington, Lower Hutt.
I'm from Dunedin.
The Hawke's Bay.
Christchurch.
Clyde.
Blenheim.
From Auckland, New Zealand.
And I have Crohn's.
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 Crohn's disease.
Inflammatory bowel disease is an umbrella term that describes two main conditions, Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. They're both long-term conditions where the lining of the bowel becomes inflamed. And when I say inflamed, it means it becomes swollen, it becomes red, it becomes angry.
Crohn's, the way that I would describe it is constant pain. It doesn't go away, it's always there.
Because you get very tired and your friends will ask why you're so tired all the time, but then you also feel sick. And then they'll ask you why you feel sick. You need to always go to the toilet, you need a special diet, always go to the hospital. There's so many things that happen with Crohn's. You know, you can't just explain them all to your friends. And it's just kind of hard as well for them to fully understand.
Crohn's can be really isolating. I didn't know anyone. I mean, when I was diagnosed, I was 23, but no one had heard of it. None of my friends had heard of it. I hadn't heard of it. And no one kind of knew what it meant. And I knew no one else with it. And it was really lonely.
I was diagnosed probably around about 2 years ago, which was probably a rough patch in my life I went through. And I opened up to a lot of the nurses there and they told me about Camp Purple.
Camp Purple is for children and teenagers with IBD, so that's Crohn's or colitis, and that we bring them out and they get to live normally and have a normal camp experience with people who are the same as them.
So many of them have come so far out of their shell. They're pushing their own limitations. Just watching the other kids who also have Crohn's or IBD, they see that they can push themselves too.
My favourite things is just like all the activities we do and meeting new people, making friends.
The high jump that's here and the flying fox and all those really high activities because I just get my adrenaline going and I just can't wait to, yeah, they're just my favourite.
Probably one of the best adrenaline rushes you could probably get, which is great, gives you a kick.
Definitely yesterday at Victor was so good. That was like the best time ever.
With Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis, a lot of patients are able to identify different foods that maybe make their symptoms a bit worse. Your average camp diet doesn't really cover those needs so well, so this time we brought in our chef to make sure we can combine a number of foods.
I've enjoyed like free meals and then extra snacks in between as well. Well, not sure if I'll get that at home.
So good how they just make so many things, so many different diets. Because Crohn's isn't just one diet, it's like 50.
So we have vegan and dairy-free and gluten-free at the same time. We have someone who can't have potatoes and bread, and so we make sure that we cater the diet to cover those needs.
Oh, it's awesome. I've been feeling so sick, I've eaten so much. It's great.
I think as a child with Crohn's, it's quite common to miss camp because, you know, you're afraid of taking medications or afraid to use the bathroom during the night or, yeah, so it's good at this camp that, you know, all the kids take medications, they all line up at the same time.
You know, you feel safe and that you're not the only one and that it's just a really like lovely community that we can like all enjoy together. Everyone just relates. They don't have to explain why or how, because we've all been through it.
They can talk about it here at camp. They can talk about it. They can ask questions. They can ask about surgeries and ask other leaders.
I was talking to one of the kids the other day and he was saying he had a surgery, and I said, what surgery? And he sort of went, oh, an ileostomy. And I went, same. And he went, what? What? I didn't even know, you know, I can't even tell. And Ethan said, yes, you can surf. And this little kid went, oh, but how do you go in the water with the bag? And I was just explaining to him, and he had all these questions, and it was so cool to watch his face light up and be like, oh, I can actually do stuff.
It's such a comforting environment to be around all these people who know and like understand you, have like compassion for each other, and yeah, it's such a great experience.
I think the kids get a lot out of it, but so do the volunteers.
With my friends back home, I sort of have to wait like a couple of months before I tell them. Here, I feel like I've known the volunteers for 5 years, and it's only day 3.
The parents actually can see their children gaining confidence, gaining autonomy, doing things that they didn't imagine they could do.
These seminars that they have for the parents, I'm a registered nurse, so I understand the medical side of things, but when you go through it with a child, there are so many challenges that are unique to you, to just living day-to-day life. So coming to these and sharing your experiences has been invaluable, and the network that you get and the friendships is your saving grace.
Because you've got all those other parents who have been through something similar to yourself with the heartache and the tears, and they've all been there and done that. So basically you're relating to each other even before you know it. You're on the same level, you're on the same page, and yeah, it's just so wonderful to have, you're not alone. All the doctors and nurses, if they weren't here, I wouldn't feel that I could leave my son.
Doctors and nurses that take a full week off, some of them are unpaid weeks off, they're using their annual leave, so taking time out of their holidays and work to come to volunteer at this camp is amazing.
Having a camp for these kids is probably the best thing that our organization can do. We can really make a difference in their lives when they're young, since it is a chronic disease. One of our guiding tenets when we first set up the camp was it would be provided free.
So all the campers come here and it's all paid for by all of our sponsors, which makes it nice and easy.
If the sponsors didn't put the money in, we couldn't afford to do this.
We wouldn't be able to come here if it wasn't for them.
We'll always remember this like through our whole lives, so yeah, we're so thankful.
You don't realise just how much it means to everyone here, not just the kids, that they were so generous and helped make this happen, because Crohn's is a really devastating, lonely place to live, and they let us have a week where we get to be strong with each other.
I feel like if you haven't come to this camp, first of all, what are you doing?
Coming here every year, you learn so much, like that you're not alone, and that you can go through these experiences and become so much stronger than you already were.
And it's cool seeing them year after year and seeing them turn into adults, into teenagers.
We've all got each other's numbers and we're always talking to each other.
Auckland, Wellington, Tauranga, everywhere. I know that I have friends to go to.
We have this little weird family, Camp Purple family going on now.
Yes, they've got a long-term disease, but they're living with a long-term disease. They're not defined by it. They're not Crohn's sufferers, if you like. They're just young people who happen to have this long-term disease.
The kids that I know are so much stronger than most people without the disease. And they just need to realize that, and that's one of the main purposes of the camp, that these kids can be independent, that they can be strong, that they can reach their potential, that they really can do anything.
I don't really feel that Crohn's is weighing me down on anything. Like, I just feel like I can do whatever, and Crohn's isn't going to stop me.